Hi. Do I look dead? Do I feel dead? Am I defeated by the world? In a lot of ways, yes. But I get knocked down 9 times and I get up 10. Let's move on, shall we? Balenciaga shakeup. Caring chaos. Caring is knowing nothing but chaos lately. I mean, I understand why. I'm gonna help explain why. So much has happened, but let's talk about what's recent. Pier Paolo is now the head of Balenciaga. So of course he exited Valentino. And what's going on? What's happening? I'll tell you, the rise of conservatism. Why are major brands becoming more conservative? Why is everyone covering up? Why are all the weird hippies and artists being fired and juggled around? Because white people don't know how to fight. A vast majority of liberal whites are only liberal when it's easy for them to be. But let's backtrack. What's been going on? So of course we had Gucci's decline under Salvatore di Sarna, which I absolutely adored Salvatore's Gucci, but people didn't get it. It was very art forward. It was very texture forward. It wasn't incredible on the branding and GGGGGGG that Gucci is known for. So Salvatore, and by extension Gucci Corporate Caring, wanted to try and see if Gucci can go into a different direction. It didn't work. Then we had Sarah Burton exiting McQueen. They brought in Sean Burr, a white male, which Alexander McQueen was a white male, but it's a little different. Bottega has went super quiet. No one has said a word about Bottega in months. Saint Laurent is being stagnant. I did love what Charlie wore the other day. That was designed by YSL. However, they're usually a lot more out there, a little more aggressive with the branding. They're a lifestyle brand, so they really go hard on trend and what's going on lately, and now it looks like H&M. And then there's like dirty talk on the streak of Caring Beauty and something about them investing into Kylie Jenner. So Caring's out here trying to rebrand literally everything that they do. They're changing every single facet of what they do, and they're cutting off the hand of every arm and installing a new one. And then LVMH and Prada are just out here vibing while they're under complete chaos. So as a whole, the big picture, the entire industry is going to be changing. I know Caring is the most aggressive right now. Out of the conglomerates, Caring is the most out there historically. Caring is the one that's art forward, that's like, sure, Demna, go make a weird campaign, great. And by no means was that a mistake. Dozens of people had to okay that. That's how corporate works. So Caring takes big risks, and historically, they've reaped some pretty big rewards. So of course, socially, everything is moving more right. Everyone's covered up, everyone's demure, everyone is going into quiet luxury. So we're going to lose the plot, we're going to lose so much individuality. Brands mimic what's hot right now. Caring and LVMH have a lot more in common with Macy's and Fashion Nova than you think. They're here to make money at the end of the day. They genuinely do not care about what they're contributing the way companies once did 20, 30 years ago. It's just how it is. Thanks, capitalism. Let's go back to Balenciaga, Demna's reign. Was it genius or was it shock? I think it was mixes of both. I dived into that. Please go watch that video. The IKEA bag, the caution tape, the mud pit, the walking through hell, the torturing of the models, Kim Kardashian. So of course, with the big scandal that happened, Balenciaga dropped. It tanked financially. It was ironic that everyone always copied them. Everyone always dipped their hands and toes into scandal and to shock. Everyone followed the steps of what Demna did at Balenciaga. It's very clear, it's very obvious. But now the entire industry is saying, okay, bye, Demna, which is kind of sad, kind of necessary in a way that they're moving on, but I feel like they're moving in a direction that's so wrong, the whole conservatism route. And as far as Balenciaga goes, Pier Paolo is a choice because Pier Paolo is safe. He's one of those people that can genuinely, obviously design for anything. He is talented, he knows what he's doing. But what is Balenciaga gonna look like? They're just going to completely shun what Demna did. They're gonna just move on. They're gonna pick a new logo, pick all new branding, redesign every single store, pick all new people to represent them. And then what? Bring back couture, bring back the gowns, bring back Cristobal Balenciaga or Demna Balenciaga. And I think there's a really bigger conversation to have as to the impact that designers have on brands, right? Right, like think of Chanel. Is Chanel's brand really at the end of the day have anything to do with Coco Chanel anymore? Or is that Karl Lagerfeld's brand? Chanel was a Yahtzee and made a dress, 2 perfumes, and a bag. And as bad as Karl was not a Yahtzee, but Karl gave us dozens and dozens of things. He defined the industry himself for decades, much longer than Demna did. First of all, picking Pier Paolo is a gut punch to Demna saying, okay, bye, thanks, we made our money. And then what happens? Romanticism, it becomes emotional, it becomes very humanistic, it becomes very flowy and drapey, it becomes very Italian, Greco. Will Balenciaga's black become the new Valentino pink? We're expecting his first show in October of 2025, which will be the spring 26 show. So we're ushering in the second half of the awful 20s with Pier Paolo at the helm of the most influential brand in the industry. Balenciaga sets the tone and the floor. They've been doing it for over 12 years now. So with all the mix-ups happening, with all of the things that are going on behind the scenes with corporate and shifting around designers, I think if we have to pay attention to one brand, it should be Balenciaga. Because they went from quiet skirts and pants and blazers to sneakers and socks and IKEA bags and paper clips, just the most random things. You already know Balenciaga's weird. And that was embraced, it was loved, it was taken on by the industry. So now they're going to do a complete revert, or are they going to evolve that into something new? Are they going to shun all of Demna's history and just make something else new? And then once conservatism's out, then they're going to re-embrace what Demna did? Like, what is the game plan for Balenciaga for the next 10, 20, 30 years? And I think across the board, we have to talk about is Kering wants their redemption arc. I think the scandal brought down everyone in a way, put everyone in scrutiny. They want to have some depth, but they also want to double down on who they're selling to. It's very clear that luxury is not for all. It's very clear that they really aren't honoring the artistic development and creation. They want things to be expensive, they want to make their money. And some could say, yes, the pendulum always swings between two extremes. We're going from chaos to craftsmanship, but that's not entirely true. We know that they dumbed down Bottega's quality while also increasing prices on those Bottega items. We know Saint Laurent has been getting a really interesting take from a lot of influencers saying, ugh, it's an okay brand, whatever, kind of losing their credibility as a luxury brand. People are seeing it as Tory Burch nowadays, right? Very entry level to luxury fashion. So they lost major ground with Gucci. They lost ground with Saint Laurent. Bottega isn't as hot as it once was. Balenciaga is still reeling from scandal and Demna. So of course they brought in someone that's very safe, someone that doesn't shake the boat, that's not going to do protests and make huge statements. Pier Paolo's going to make very pretty dresses, put it on the runway, and then collect his check and go home. That's what he does. He's great at it. But is that really what Balenciaga is? Demna redefined Balenciaga. Demna breathed some life into it. He gave us something that was never seen before on that scale with that platform. And at the end of the day, Kering has the time and the money to play and figure this out. They're in it for the long haul. Of course, they put designers under tons of scrutiny because of what happened with Eddie and YSL. And we're going to start seeing brands mesh together. As these designers are moving around and they're being strategically picked based off of what works and what makes money. So you're going to see pieces of Valentino blending into Balenciaga, and then you're going to see pieces of Balenciaga blending into Valentino, and you're going to see parts of Alexander McQueen going into Chanel. And then it becomes they all kind of just look the same. They all kind of are doing the same thing, saying the same thing. And I think there's a bigger conversation to have of when does a brand die? When is it time to move on and pick someone new? Like, really think about it. Like, who is the newest designer to have a name and a brand? Tom Ford and Marc Jacobs? The past, like, what, 4 decades, the only new people we have on the street are Tom Ford and Marc Jacobs. So we're not necessarily honoring legacy or integrity or emotion with these picks. We're trying to make money, and that's all they're doing. So I think the bigger question is, what is fashion becoming? What are they trying to get at? I think they're proving conservatism. I think they're saying that they're going to dial it back. I think fashion was getting to a point where it needed to be, and sadly we've lost so much ground because people are ignorant and complacent and joyous in their ignorancy, and they're going to take it out on the facets that were able to express themselves. So the golden question, what is Pier Paolo going to do to Balenciaga? I'll be watching, you should be watching, we won't know until October. And again, of course, designers, their first show, even I would say up to first 2 shows, 3 shows, we don't know exactly what they're doing, what they're getting at. There's a lot of like corporate stuff going on. There's a lot of they can't get what they want. They can't create what they want. They have to like merge and mesh with what's going on because corporate is very heavy-handed. But with all the changes so far, with all the musical chairs that the industry is playing, I think one brand we should be paying attention to is Balenciaga right now. But you tell me, what do you think about the situation? How do you feel? Do you think he'll destroy it? Do you think he'll build on it? And yeah, I'm going to post more regularly, I promise. We will talk some more because a lot's been going on. So I will see you in the next one, and resist and don't let the bastards grind you down.